Hi everyone, this is Sarah. So today I'm going to continue on our discussion about GIS and mapping and show you how to map different things, different information in GIS. So for this purpose, actually I downloaded a new file. I downloaded a new dataset in basically from the Open Denver Open Data Catalog, and that data set is at the neighborhood level. So I want you to download that data set first. So just search for neighborhood and find. Let's go to the third page. So I want you to download the American Community Survey Neighborhood from 2015 to 2019. So this is the most recent one at the neighborhood level. I want you to download it so you know how to do that from before. Just click here and download the shapefile. I have already done that, so I can show you. So that was a zip. The folder was zipped. I brought it here and I basically unzip the folder. So this is my file. And as you know from before, this file was connected to ArcMap. So let me open ArcMap. Let's open a new map, a blank map. Okay. And so here my folder, GIS Data Denver. And here I have the survey tracks for the community survey. I have the neighborhood, community survey at the neighborhood 2015 to 2019, and that's what we need. So I open that and I drag and drop the shapefile here. As you remember from before, the first thing that we always do is right click here, go to properties, and basically adjust the projection. So I search for Colorado, projected coordinate systems, state planes, and I go to NAD 1983, 2011 US feet, and then for Denver I select Colorado Central, apply. We want to change the projection. Okay, yes. So now the projection is correct and we can move forward with the next steps. So let's first open the attribute table for this shapefile to see what kind of information we have and how we can basically how we can map those types of information. So the first thing is neighborhood name. We can basically map, we can show the variation in the neighborhoods and different neighborhoods when we can map them. And I will show you how we can do that. Another thing that I want to show how to map, we talked about it last time, was the percentage of children in the neighborhood. And I'm going to show you how to map that. And the other thing that we talked about it last time was population density. So population density is basically the number of people living in an area to that area. Here we don't have the area of the neighborhood. Okay, so let's start with one thing. Let's start with mapping the neighborhoods, basically using different colors to map the neighborhoods. As you remember from last time, we right click to map something, to map sort of information. We right click on the layer, go to properties, and then go to symbology. So as we talked about it last time, we can map different types of data, categorical data or quantities. So neighborhood names are categorical data. They are not, um, basically we cannot define it by numbers. It has a name, so it's categorical. So we can use categories to show different neighborhoods using different colors. So I go to unique values, and I select my field, neighborhood names, and then I need, in order to map all different neighborhoods, I need to add all values, right? So when I add all values, and this is my color ramp, I can use another color ramp. However, this is probably more colorful. So as you see, GIS has assigned one color to each neighborhood, which is great. And then apply and okay. So as you see here, we have created a map of different neighborhoods, and we assigned GIS has assigned different colors to each neighborhood. We can do something. You may say, oh, I want to see the name of the neighborhood. We can very simply show that. Go to properties. So on properties, go to labels. Go to labels, and we can basically add neighborhood names to those labels as labels. So neighborhood name, Arial 8, and that's the font and the size of the name. Label features in this layer, so you should check that so that neighborhood names appear there. And apply. Okay, so now you see we labeled the map by the name of neighborhoods. As you see, the text might be a little bit big, so I go to properties again. I go to labels, and we can make it a smaller. Just make it 5 or 4, and then apply, and okay. So it looks better this way. It's not as big as before. And this is our neighborhood, North Park Hill, as you see. Okay, so we mapped Denver by neighborhoods and neighborhood names. That was one thing. Now what I want to do is to map the percentage of children in Denver. So why not I copy and paste this layer and show that process on another layer. So in order to copy and paste this layer, I just right click, copy, and then right click on layers and paste layers, right? So now I have 2 American Community Survey maps. I can turn off the first one and then work with this one. So let's open this one and see the attribute table. So with the attribute table, in order, just imagine that by children we mean people under, let's see what information we have. Let's say that we want the percentage of people under 18. So this is age less than 5, 5 to 9, 10 to 15. This is 15 to 18, to be honest with you. So under 18, let's say that we want the number of the percentage of people under 18 over the total population for each neighborhood. So we need to add people less than number of people less than 5 years old, 5 to 9, 9 to 15, and 15 to 18, all divided by total population in each neighborhood. How we can do that? In GIS, actually, we have this opportunity to make a new field and do some calculations. And this is a great opportunity. So in order to make a new field or make a new column, we go here, table options. You click on this triangle and add field. So add a field, I would call it children percentage. And the type of the data, let's make it double. And double means that we can calculate it with a precision. And for the precision, I put 2, so to the 2, we can have 2 decimals. Okay. So this is too long, and it's suggested children -p. That's fine. Yes. Okay. So now we have this field. We need to calculate this field. In order to do that, just right click on the field and go to Field Calculator. Okay. So it asks us to basically calculate the percentage of children. How we can do that? We are going to, I open a parenthesis, we are going to age. I'm going to add up age less than 5, 5 to 9, 10 to 15, 15 to 18, and divided that by total population. So age less than 5 plus 5 to 9 plus 10 to 15 plus 15 to 18, and then close the parenthesis. In order to, we can use backslash, basically to divide it by total population in each neighborhood. And in order to make it a percentage, so this should be multiplied, we use asterisk 100 to become a percentage. Okay, and now it's calculating the records, right? So 17% of people living in whatever neighborhood are children. 62% of people living in another neighborhood are children. Good, so we have calculated this. I close it, and now I'm going to map the percentage of children in this neighborhood. So in order to do that, we go to Properties, Symbology. This time, because the percentage is a number and it's a quantity, I go to Quantities, and I want to map that, so you can choose a color ramp however you want. Let's say, I think the color ramp that's already here, that's fine. The value that we want to map is the percentage of children. So we have from 0 to 7, 8 to 16, 17 to 23, and so forth. And normalized, it doesn't need to be normalized because it has already become normalized. We divided that by the total population. Apply. Okay, so now you can see the percentage of children by neighborhood in Denver. And as you see, the western part of Denver, basically we have the percentage of children is pretty high in the western part of Denver. Percentage of children is pretty low in downtown area, and it's also pretty high in this in the kind of the area, the neighborhoods that are close to the airport. So in the percentage of children, we can conclude that the percentage of children is basically high in in newer neighborhoods, in less developed neighborhoods. Okay, so that was another thing that I wanted to show. Now the other thing that we wanted to map was the population density, and I copy and paste this layer again here so that I can do that calculation in the new layer. So I again open the attribute table of the new layer. So as you see here, we have the total population, but population and density is total population over the area of that area. We don't have that area of each neighborhood. Let me show you. I couldn't find the area of the neighborhood. So if we don't have the area of the neighborhood, we can simply actually calculate it. And how we are going to do that? We are going again to add a field, and this time I call it area. I want it to be double. Okay, how we can calculate the area of the neighborhood? Again, right click here, and this time don't go to field calculator. This time go to calculate geometry. Calculate geometry, and so we can basically calculate different things: area, perimeter, x coordinate of centroid, y coordinate of centroid, but we are concerned about the area. And we are going to use the new coordinate system, basically the correct coordinate system. We can, that area can be in square feet, or it can be in square mile. Let's put square mile. So that way our population density will be people per square mile. And okay. Okay. Actually, I made a mistake because I gave it to, so let me delete this field. Okay, let me delete this field and make a new field. So area double, and I want it to be, I put 10 precision, and okay, and the scale I put 2. So this time right click, calculate geometry, yes, area, and I want it in square mile. Sorry, square mile. Okay, yes. Okay, so now it's calculated to the with 2 decimals, which is great. So at that point, last time we had a lot of zeros, but because some of the areas were less than 1 mile, 1 square mile, but this time it calculated to with 2 degrees of 2 decimal degrees. Okay, then I close it. Now I want to map the population density. So I right click here, go to properties, and then again, population density is a number, it's a quantity. So I go to quantity, and this time I use another ramp, another color ramp, maybe green to red. And this time the value that I want to map is total population, but we want to normalize it because we did not calculate the population density there, but we can normalize it by area. So I go down, so total population, normalize it by area. So basically we have 40 people per square mile to 24,000 people per square mile. Apply. Okay. So as you see here, in this is a map of population density, and as you can see here, we have a lot of the population density is pretty high in downtown area, including Capitol Hill and so on, and the population density is lower in this area, which are the neighborhoods close to the airport, is pretty low. It's not. It's a little bit high in the western part, but it's pretty low in the southern part, and that's interesting. We can actually compare it to children. So that's very interesting. That the map of children, by so it's kind of there is not that much association between the population density and percentage of children, right? So wherever we have more children, it doesn't mean that we have more population, it's just we have more children. And in the downtown area, that's the population density is pretty high. We don't have that many children, right? And that's probably because people who live in downtown area are usually younger people who want to use that ambience in the downtown area. Okay, so that was about you may think about, okay, why not, you may have this question, what's the relationship between the population density and the percentage of owners and number of owners, number of renters? We can actually show both in one map. I copy this layer and paste it here as another layer, right? And I use this layer to show the percentage of renters and owners. And that's so these maps basically, we use color, we use different shades of one color or different colors to use the variation in one variable, in one factor around across neighborhoods. But now I want to use charts. I want to add charts to that. Okay, so this map, I open attribute table to show you that we have housing here. We have ownership, housing ownership here. So owner occupants, renter occupants, right? So we have these two, occupied houses, owner occupants, renter occupants. Okay, we want to map these two. Close that. So go to properties, and go to symbology. This time we want to use a chart. We want to use a chart to show the percentage of renters versus owners. And since housing housing ownership, we either they are either owned or rented, we can use a pie chart. We can use a pie chart to show that. So I use a pie chart and draw. So what the two features that we want to map using this pie chart are owner occupants and renter occupants, right? So I select these two, shift and select these two, and then using this arrow, put them there. So purple is owner occupant and green is renter occupant. Apply and okay. So as you see here, we created this pie chart for each neighborhood that shows the percentage of owners versus renters. And as you see in the downtown area, we have more renters than owners. Outside, we have more owners than renters. We can change the background color. We can make it transparent so that you can see. We can see the population density underneath that. And in order to make that transparent, I go to properties again, go to symbology, and for the background, as for the background, I double click here and I make it no color. Okay, apply, okay. So right now, basically, and I can actually make the pie chart a little bit smaller so that you can better see that. The size of the pie chart, I make it 18. Okay, and I made the background transparent. Apply. Okay, right. So now that I made the background transparent, I can see whatever is going on. I can see the other layers. So this layer is the population density, and we have this chart over that. So basically, that makes it very easy for us to compare the population density and housing ownership. So for instance, in that downtown area that the density is pretty high, we see that we have larger number of renters versus owners. In here, where that the population density is pretty low, we have more owners versus renters, and so on. So it makes it easier for us to compare to different data and see and find any association between those data. You can also compare it with the percentage of children, right? The percentage of children. Again, wherever we have lower percentage of children, we have more renters than owners. Wherever we have higher percentage of children, we have more owners than renters. It's not consistent all of day. For instance, here we have a high percentage of children, but we have more renters than owners. But typically, that's the trend that we see in this data set. Okay, so I think that's enough for today. And thank you so much for watching this video. I will talk about this video later. Thank you. Have a great day.